Now, joining us from the Minneapolis is founder of the Racial Justice Network, civil rights attorney Nekima Levy. Good morning, Nekima.
It's Nekima.
Nekima, I apologize. Good morning, Nekima. Now, Nekima, you've been boots on the ground from day one, co-organized the rallies. Can you give us a sense of the climate in Minneapolis?
Well, here in Minneapolis, we are continuing to protest and demonstrate and stand against the violence of the Minneapolis Police Department, as well as police departments throughout the state of Minnesota. Our system has been crooked and corrupt for a very long time. There have been numerous police killings. We have tried to advocate, raise awareness. We have shut things down, whether it's the freeway or the mall or city council meetings or the legislature or the governor's office. We've gone everywhere we could possibly go over the last 5 years and beyond to demand a change and to demand justice, and our cries had fallen on deaf ears. And unfortunately, we all witnessed such a heinous situation with the Minneapolis Police Department abusing and ultimately killing an unarmed Black man by the name of George Floyd. And we can't get those images out of our head that we saw in the video.
Right. Now, we see one narrative on the news. What's the narrative you want people to know about why people are protesting?
Well, I think that it's obvious for anyone who has been paying attention to the unfolding events in Ferguson, Missouri, beginning in August of 2014, when Mike Brown was killed by the police, and all of the uprisings that have happened since that time to declare that Black Lives Matter, that we're fed up with systems that don't work for us, systems that oppress us, and leaders of these systems who maintain the status quo. I know that a lot of the narrative that the media has focused on has been honing in on, the symptoms of oppression, the symptoms of being fed up, such as some people engaging in an uprising, buildings being burned, stores being broken into. But the reality is that that's a very small number of people who've been engaged in protests. And with regard to the buildings being burned, there's evidence to suggest that white supremacists are behind burning those buildings. They have burned essential buildings within the African American community. There is no African American protester, it's anybody who I can think of or can imagine who would burn down a grocery store, a gas station, or any other essential business within their own community. We have actually experienced a lot of hate crimes since we started taking on the police and since George Floyd was killed and we took to the streets in protest. So white supremacists have been coming into our neighborhoods. They have actually been setting cars on fire, threatening people, and they're very sophisticated in terms of their networks. And they also are working very hard to undermine this movement. But no matter what, these white supremacists are not going to stop us from standing up for justice.
Right. Now, how much of our role does the current administration play in the racial climate of our nation?
Well, I think that the current administration helped bring some of the evil to the surface that has been here the entire time. I mean, our nation went to war over whether it would, have some of the states as slave states, some of the states as free states. So there was bloodshed back then over whether we would remain property. So some individuals and some communities have a vested interest in keeping their feet on our necks. And they not only try to intimidate and manipulate through white supremacist groups and hateful rhetoric, but they also work within systems. I mean, it's no secret that the FBI has uncovered the connection between white supremacists and Ku Klux Klan organizations and law enforcement agencies around the country. But somehow when officers shoot and kill Black people, criminalize Black people, use excessive force on Black people, we think these are isolated incidences. that everyone should just pipe down, that we should go back to business as usual, that the system works, according to the way that it needs to. And we know that it is actually another form of enslavement. We have to rise up.
Yes,
we can't
absolutely.
continue to accept this.
Look, well, I just want to thank you so much for joining us, and please be safe and keep us posted on everything.